All right. 58% Turkey Thomas. Wow. Well, guys, you know, I don't make the rules on this stream. Okay, guys. All right, here we go. So this video, we're going to watch this video here. You guys spoke. 58% this video. 42% Christian 66. Pretty high for Christian considering it's the 66th part, but we're going to have to get to that eventually. Anyway, people have been sending me this video for a long time. It's a Turkey Tom video called What Happened to LtCorbis. So let's get it going. I mean, I think you guys sent me this video like when it came out. It's like July. So it's been a few months here. That was July. So let's get this going, guys.
Like to admit it or not.
Whoa.
Whether we like to admit it or not, kids have always been a big part of the commentary community. From picking on the cringy videos produced by them to relying on younger audiences to fuel the toxicity of their fan bases. And if you think about it, it makes sense why that's the case. Kids have more time than anyone else. Time to watch YouTube and become invested in the stories that the community produces.
Kids are also psychopaths. I don't know if you guys knew that. But kids have they care less about the people around them, so I feel like they're more likely to be toxic on the internet because they don't feel bad. You know what I mean? Like, kids are actual pieces of shit. Did you guys know this?
So what happens when one of those kids then becomes one of the most popular faces in the genre? For a few years, that face belonged to LtCorbis.
As you could venture to guess, I'm in middle school, and if you're in school now or you were in school before, you know that there's going to be a bad egg or two scattered around the school.
A girl whose career began before she was even 12 years of age. At her peak, she had more than 900,000 subscribers, and the respect she commanded was the envy of many others. But today, hardly anyone ever talks about LtCorbis. After a political controversy a few years ago and her own channel deletion, it seemed everyone just stopped caring. Her audience of nearly 1 million people simply moved on.
That's crazy.
But I didn't forget. In fact, when it comes to the commentary community, it seems I never do. This is the story of what happened to LtCorbis. On August 10th, 2015, the LtCorbis channel was created. Its owner, a then 11-year-old named Sophia, had been watching YouTube for some time, being introduced to the platform by her brother. The first content she was exposed to was Minecraft YouTubers and Let's Players, as is the case for many young children. However, she quickly drifted her focus to slightly more mature videos, that being the commentary community. According to her, she had been active on the image board 4chan since just 9 years of age. If you're from
That's where it starts, brother. 4chan. Now 4chan's dead. Like they're at somewhere else. And like I said, this is all the time. 4chan is just for like people looking at, you know, porn now and those horrible cartel videos. Oh, Jesus. Have you ever seen those before, dude? That shit's fucking horrible. Jesus Christ.
Familiar with the site at all, you're also aware that its most infamous boards host content that is anything but child-friendly. As a result, it's likely her early use of this website played into a more dark sense of humor. And even at this early age, Sophia was not content simply watching from the sidelines. She wanted to participate in the chaos, which enveloped the YouTube community at the time. Before this channel, she apparently had a Minecraft channel while she was invested in the more child-friendly content of Minecraft YouTubers. But that went nowhere, and she abandoned it. Once interested in commentary channels, she once again attempted to emulate the style of her idols.
But all of this kind of relates to a recent shitty business tactic that was pulled by the the Fine brothers.
Despite how young she was, the videos were surprisingly good. She had a decent grasp on how to make a video entertaining. She had clear
is this video going to end with like, where is she now? Because I truly wonder what's happened to some of these people.
Jokes and roasts, and was honestly
Her parents were absent. Honestly, I feel like back then it was harder to like be present. You know what I mean? Like, only because like the internet was new, people didn't really understand what the fuck was going on. I wouldn't, you know, nowadays you got to be a little more aware as a parent, especially since you're growing up in like the internet age. But like back then, like it was so new. Like parents now are growing up where like, yeah, I know what the internet is. So you have a little bit more responsibility to be a little bit better. But back then, bro, how the fuck are you gonna know what that shit? You know what I mean? How do you know about that stuff? My old boomer mom barely knows how to use Facebook. You know, I barely know how to use the internet, bro. I grew up in the internet. Something's going on here.
Better than most other adult commentators at the time.
Everyone is becoming a major pussy.
However, after months of uploading, this new channel was seemingly going the same way as her previous Minecraft venture. Just her shouting into the void of YouTube, getting almost no viewers while she uploaded consistently. Nothing really of note would occur until March 10th.
Wait, hold on, let's see what he said.
Into the void
65
of YouTube, getting almost no viewers while she uploaded consistently. Nothing really of note would occur until March 10th, 2016. Before that date, the channel only had around 50 subscribers, but the trajectory of her life was about to change forever. In the video she made directly before her explosion in popularity, Corbis decided to talk about all of the YouTubers who inspired her. She mentions Leafy, Pyrocynical, Sneeko, and iDubbbz as her biggest inspirations, even describing herself as an amalgamation of these channels rather than something unique.
It's just like a big clusterfuck of a bunch of other big YouTubers that I watch on a regular basis. So I have...
Was this like the meta back then? I know this is a weird question. Is this like the meta back then? Was to be like a young kid that came off as like very self-aware and like educated and like you know what I mean? Like was that the whole thing and intelligent? Was that like fucking the meta? Because isn't that what happened with Sneeko? Like, it seems weird. Like, why were people like, oh my god, they're such a mature young person? Like, what the fuck?
Absolutely butt-fuck nothing going for me.
In a community whose humor was split between calling others cringe and calling themselves cringe, this seemed really appealing and made Corbis seem really mature for her age. On March 10th, 2016,
like that was
a
the
Reddit
meta.
user discovered the channel and posted one of the videos onto the Pyrocynical subreddit. This boosted the channel to around 250 subscribers due to the Reddit post getting a lot of upvotes.
Right.
Enough for YouTuber Pyrocynical himself to see it. He would later upload a video to his channel titled "The Worst Thing in All of YouTube," where he gave a shout out to her.
Now, I could sit here for a good 5 minutes and explain how to be original on YouTube and make original content, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to get an 11-year-old girl to explain it.
2 days after this video was released,
space.
Sophie accumulated 60,000 subscribers,
That's
and all of her
crazy.
videos were quickly racking up thousands of views. Her channel was actually growing so fast that YouTube temporarily froze her sub count, due to them suspecting that she could have been manipulating her sub count with bots. After the
Jesus,
shout out,
that's
other
kinda
channels
cool,
like Keemstar also decided to platform her, posting about her rapidly growing sub count while gloating that he had a hand in making her famous.
Well, I guess this is the drama alert effect.
On March 15th of 2016, just 5 days after the initial shoutout, Corbis reached the 100,000 subscriber milestone. To congratulate her on her success, Keemstar did an interview on Drama Alert asking some of the questions many were curious about, given her recent explosion in popularity.
The thing that shocked me the most is, like, usually kid YouTubers get a lot of hate for, main reason of being cringy, making, mediocre to bad content.
Probably,
and
yeah.
the amount of support I've gotten is crazy.
They probably get hate from other kids, though. That's the thing. It's probably just other kids hating on those kids. You know what I mean?
Because if you look at, like, the amount of supportive comments versus the amount of comments that are just, like, hate, it's like, absolutely crazy and mind-blowing to me that people actually enjoy what I make.
During that week, she was actually one of the fastest growing YouTube channels on the entire platform, with her stealing the spotlight from other teenagers and young adults in the commentary community.
What a thief.
This article,
Just
released at
kidding.
the time from the Daily Dot, claims she might even be the future of all internet media, and praises her for her social commentary. It's already clear that we're heading towards an internet where most of what we consume is video, and our Facebook overlords want us to get there even faster. Plus, gaming streams are growing. Why wouldn't we also get our media commentary from a shitposting kid who can't stop laughing while breaking down BuzzFeed's content strategy? Her understanding of the dynamics of web celebrity and controversy is more sophisticated than that of many adults who do this stuff for a living. They end the article by remarking that her social commentary was much more sophisticated than that of Gamergaters. While I'm sure many of you have heard the term Gamergate, given how long ago it was, it may seem sort of...
I still don't really know what Gamergate is. Gamergate was a loosely organized misogynistic online harassment. I don't even know really what Gamergate was, bro. I feel like I gotta watch a video on Gamergate, but I gotta be careful who I watch it from, because like if I watch it from a gamer, then like they're just gonna tell me that it was all memes and fun, you know.
nebulous what it was even about or why it matters today. Gamergate was an online movement which, at its core, was about removing identity politics from video games and video game journalism. However you feel about that message,
See, I don't know if I could believe like I have to, like, it's one of those things where I'd have to live through it. I feel like, because like it probably wasn't just trying to remove idpol from video games. There's probably a point of it that was trying to like be a little bit less sexist towards women in video games, because like video game industries and video game players are historically very fucking sexist and racist. I'm honestly sure it was about a little more than just that. It's hard to get. I'm sure that's the message some people took out of it, and I'm sure that's part of it in some capacity. But a lot of that shit was probably like, you know, very fucking just like kind of like sexist shit. You know, people like melting down because like they want to be a little more inclusive. You know.
there's no denying that the existence of that event has been very influential to the internet and culture at large, with terms like social justice warrior being reintroduced to the popular lexicon in a negative light. Gamergate was the start of an entire wave of channels like Sargon of Akkad, who dedicated their time to discussing why political correctness and identity politics were ruining society. And while it was not the primary focus of the commentary community, there was no denying that they partook in that kind of content from time to time. Dunking on 21st century feminists was a huge trend at the time. Case in point, H3H3 Productions posts, "BuzzFeed is the McDonald's of feminism."
BuzzFeed is at it again with the 38th video they've made about having a period.
I'm on my period.
What's so funny is that like when we were talking about that before, there's probably like points of it where it was overcorrecting, you know, where it was probably just, I mean, what it sounds like to me is it's probably just trying to be like a little more inclusive when it comes to like video games and online culture, because historically video games and online culture wasn't super inclusive. And then maybe they were engaging in some forms of like overcorrectness, like what BuzzFeed seems like what like BuzzFeed was doing. And then like they throw Ethan in there because I'm pretty sure like Ethan would be like, I hated this moment of my career, even though he was like pretty solid, you know, pretty solid commentary on there, you know. He probably could have done a little more to be a little more nuanced about it, but like where it's like, yeah, not all of it's bad, but I know that he would want to distance himself from that shit. It's just kind of funny because I feel like that's like almost like a subtle jab at Ethan. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's what it seems like to me. It's kind of funny.
Do you period? Days of my period.
Yeah, no, I get it. Feminism is for everyone, meaning, you know, this shit could be said to another woman, right? But why does it gotta be a feminist book? Everyone has the ability to be hurtful, but not everyone. But only women have the ability to be victims.
I'm sorry. What is the book? A feminist photo book. If you would just wear makeup, you look. Oh, okay. I don't.
You said no. I'm sorry, but
not everyone. But only women have the ability to be victims.
Well, if you said no, I'm sorry, but that's pretty discriminatory.
That was somebody see, this is what I'm talking about, overcorrecting. They were like, if you wouldn't date a trans person, you're transphobic. It's like crazy because like I would date a trans person and I am still transphobic. So I the logic doesn't logic, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't logic, dude.
Discriminatory.
No, it's actually not, you fucking horseman. It's not discriminatory at all.
These three people.
See, that's where you go, like horseman. Like, see, that's the problem. Is it's not discriminatory at all. But then you call a trans like woman a man, and then like boom, then you've made yourself transphobic. You've kind of assassinated your message there by being transphobic. Where you could just be like, bro, you don't have to date a trans woman to be fucking to be like anti-transphobic. Like everybody has preferences as long as you're not disrespectful.
Were no doubt some of Corbis's biggest inspirations, and all of them were posting content roasting cringy feminists. As a result, she herself was a part of that wave, ripping on BuzzFeed and other outlets who were pushing out that kind of cringy content.
I'm not a feminist myself, but it is these feminazi extremists that kind of ruin the message of, you know, the entire group. The real feminists that are fighting for...
I mean, not for nothing. I like this... Bro, when it comes to like younger kids saying stuff that sounds intelligent, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it's most likely like what they were basically already saying is that like it's a complete copy of some other content creator. Because it's like, I'm just saying, like, it's not really their perspectives of themselves. I'm not trying to shit on this person. I don't know them. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that, like, you know, if you have like 18 different people saying the same thing, and those are their favorite creators, them saying the same thing, kind of just like is like, oh yeah, you know what you get what I'm saying? It's not really genuine. It's like I like these people, you know. Not trying to be an asshole.
Equality and actually want to spread a good message don't seem to make up the face of feminism at all.
And this is a great example of what people liked about her at the time. She swore nonstop, made content as good as the leaders in her genre, talked about the same issues they did with honestly a similar level of sophistication, and was just 11 years old. Because of her age, she would sometimes talk about her school life in the same way she talked about YouTube drama during storytime videos, reminding viewers of the fact that despite her being ahead of the curve in most ways, she was still a middle schooler at the end of the day. Being so popular, of course, would also affect her life outside of YouTube, as those she attended class with would often ask her for autographs.
You know, sometimes people ask me for like autographs and stuff, and they always overreact to tease me and like whenever they see me and stuff. But my friends are like pay attention to me a lot more, I suppose, than before. Yeah. And talk with me more and that kind of stuff because I don't know.
Because you're famous. That's one of the things that sucks, bro. When you're famous, it's like it's hard to sometimes tell who's friends with you because you're like famous or in some capacity, or who's friends with you because like they respect you. You know what I'm saying? It can be difficult to differentiate those two for some people. How fucking crazy is that, dude?
I guess I'm more interesting or whatever, and they talk with me about videos and ask me questions, so...
At this point, one may expect her channel to slow down. She had her moment in the spotlight, but now she would be reduced to a novelty. At least, that's probably what the competition hoped would happen. Instead, her channel just grew even more with time as her video making skills sharpened.
I want to treat you guys to something nice. A nice channel. The content is good. It's probably the best rapper to ever walk on this planet. And, you know, his name is Maddie B. Raps.
Just a few months later, in July, she was on the cusp of 600,000 subscribers and had attracted a very loyal fan base who watched each and every video she posted. People didn't just sub and forget about her, like what sometimes happens when people get subs in mass off of a shoutout. This now 12-year-old girl was one of the most prominent voices in the commentary community, making videos exposing Counter-Strike scams and posting the usual edgy story videos accompanied with gameplay as visuals. And given how well she was doing, some suspected that she wasn't acting alone. At the time, one of the biggest rumors around her channel was that she was not actually...
Thanks for the donation, brother. I appreciate that.
The only one creating the videos, that instead her older brother was the mastermind behind the entire operation. However, there has never been any substantial evidence to this rumor, and she's denied it at every turn. In my personal opinion, I think she may have had help from a few family members along the way, but ultimately her content was her own. It's not like the videos themselves constituted high art to begin with, even for a 12-year-old to be making.
Well, so that's interesting because like people were saying that like her brother that's actually brings like an interesting question because like I was saying before, like if you're young like that, you probably don't have like a super rooted out perspective on a lot of things that you're saying. You probably know what to say and what not to say. Why are we skipping this boss? Okay. You probably know what to say and what not to say. And like the brother might help like kind of like get that together. Jesus, I'm just like pissed. It's a fucking game. It was okay. Sorry. Anyway, the brother might be like conditioning or controlling some of the things that are being said to make it seem a little bit more intelligent. It might be editing it in some capacity to make it seem a little bit more profound. I'm not saying that's what is happening, but you know, it's possible, and that would be what people are saying. Doesn't mean it's not her content though. Just saying.
Making them.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, there's a barnacle attached to this here vessel. I should probably get out the old spatula and fucking, I don't know, scrape this thing off before it reproduces or some shit.
Whether this is a testament to her intelligence and ability to succeed in a community of adult peers despite her very young age, or a testament to the lack of intelligence of the adults in this community and the fact that a literal middle schooler was able to steal their thunder, is something I'll leave up to you.
The rate at which this channel is growing is amazing, and at this point, I really don't have much more to say for these milestones. I mean, I've said pretty much all that there can be said to thank you guys.
It wouldn't be long before
Little
Corbis
Tay
herself
effect,
begins to
yeah,
notice
right.
issues within the commentary.
Well, it seems like Little Tay it would be a little bit more drastic than this girl. It's like when it comes to the monitoring of their content or policing of it in some capacity.
Community. It seems that once becoming a part of the lineup of people she looked up to for so long, she realized her heroes were not all they were cracked up to be. In September of 2016, Corbis uploaded a video to her channel titled The Cyber Circle Jerk, which was a 9-minute long half roast and half critique of the commentary community at large.
Imagine a house of mirrors full of kids who desperately want to fit in because they're extremely insecure and also have a lack of social skills. When you're on the outside looking in, you start to notice certain patterns that repeat themselves scarily often.
Corbis's criticisms really came down to their sense of humor, or lack thereof, evasion of criticism, and ignorance on certain issues. She claimed that their content was
That's very based.
repetitive and lazy.
Very based, attacking the commentary bro community. Yeah, you know, I know what you're saying. You gotta respect the girl. Yeah, it's worth the grind. No, I'm not trying to shit on her and make it seem like she's a dumb fucking idiot. That's not the point I was trying to make. If that's what it came off as, I'm sorry about that. I was just simply saying that, like, you know, it's very possible that there's like a lot of outside influence because she's like a young girl. But I'm not saying that there is. You know, if she was a young boy, I wouldn't have as much of an issue because women are dumb. But like, since she's a girl, I obviously have this criticism. I'm just kidding. But like, you know what I'm saying.
Easy, and called out the fact that most of the people in the community were not really original at all, instead ripping their entire brand from some of the more popular figures.
It's like these kids have such a need for other people's approval that they'll tap into any type of internet subculture to appear cool to their friends.
It's also worth noting that this video—
Yeah, true. They'll just kind of like go along with what like a larger content creator has to say, and then they'll just like parrot that, and they'll allow it to like slowly invade their mind and like just kind of corrupt their channel in general. I feel like you got to be careful at shit because that'll really like hurt your channel if you just listen to like one bigger content creator. Try to go with their flow. It could really fuck you up.
Was released the same month of the Leafy is Here content cop, which likely contributed to her hatred of the commentary community. They were cool to hate at the time. During this video, Corbis seems to shame her own content as well, calling the videos she made when she was 11 years old terrible.
Interesting. Yeah, okay, so it sounds like she may have, well, what they're saying is that she may have just made that because like Leafy, or excuse me, iDubbbz was shitting on Leafy. And she was like, yeah, you know what, this is cringe. That's what I was saying, bro. Some of these young people, their perspectives aren't like super their own, you know? It's one of those things where people do this in general. I'm not trying to shit on her, but like people do this in general, where they won't have a perspective until it's like a safe perspective to have. Like people won't say something about a thing until somebody else that's like larger says that thing, and they're like, you know what? That happens a lot in the commentary and just in the communities in general. That's how like the entire online like narrative runs. You know, it's like they just, it's really what like a lot of people will wait to see what the online perspective is and then run with that.
They were just angry because of how much traction I got for making those god-awful, retarded commentary
videos.
videos.
Too base.
11. If I make you angry because you think I don't deserve what I have because you've been working longer and harder and you've sucked more big YouTubers' dicks and still haven't popped off yet, that's too damn bad. I can't do shit and you can't do shit either. So keep whining to your friends on Discord about how I have a huge ego and never confront me about it.
And she didn't just call out smaller content creators. She also swung at some of the most respected names around. She roasted Pyrocynical, she criticized Leafy for his stale jokes and his fans eating up his videos despite them being virtually the same over the years. She claims that commentators are sensitive behind the scenes, holding a grudge against her for some jokes she made, but then refusing to confront her. And Corbis also touches on the anti-SJW issue specifically here, criticizing commentary channels for seemingly being pro-free speech, but then masking their true beliefs and irony as a method of avoiding criticism.
Most of these YouTubers are over 20 years old. Own up to what you say. It's like, I shouldn't be the one that has to say all this, but since many of you already think I have a huge ego and only care about roasting people, fuck it.
Her final critique was to say that commentators do not understand many of the issues they discuss, and instead rile up their fan bases whenever any small issue affects their channels, instead of taking the time to understand why things are the way they are. She calls them uninformed, specifically using the term ignorant alarmists. The drama didn't end with the release of this video, though. Instead, a part 2 was warranted because of the various Twitter and video responses to the first Cyber Circle Jerk. With the release of this video, multiple names decided to post responses, as Corbis had specifically separated herself from a decent portion of the community who were offended by her criticisms. After unfollowing the fuckers on Twitter, he claimed that Corbis had been mean to his friends, which resulted in her roasting him in the follow-up video, video, calling his actions petty and childish.
How old was that guy? Not to be an asshole.
Mean
Wait.
to his friends, which resulted in her roasting him in the follow-up video, calling his...
How old is this kid at the time? Because could you imagine beefing with a fucking 11-year-old girl on the internet? Like, what are you doing? You can't do that. You look like a fucking idiot. This girl was mean to my friends. What the hell are you doing, bro? You can't be doing that, brother. That's fucking pathetic shit.
His actions petty and childish.
Apparently, you can't handle jokes, even though you make content for a community that's supposed to be relentless and brutally honest.
Corbis also called out familiar names like Chubbs, Eki, Sinnoh, and others who made bad content or made snide comments about her during the drama. Interestingly, one person who endorsed these videos fully was Keemstar, who at the time was on a tear of going after commentators himself. He would write on Twitter, "LtCorbis is too damn smart. Her new vid is fire." Corbis ends her own video by saying that she no longer considers herself a part of the commentary community, at least not in the way that made her career in the first place. She now looked down on these somewhat lazy gameplay videos and wanted to put more effort into her content rather than being remembered as just one of the pack. As the community moved on from the drama and continued making videos in their usual style, she began to change things up during 2017 and 2018. She was just growing up, and as a result, it was clear that her interests in the topics she was discussing were starting to wane. As 2019 rolled around, she began to break this mold even more, as she moved to talking less about YouTube drama and more to cultural and political topics. It's worth noting that there was a little bit of foreshadowing of this in the original Cyber Circle Jerk video.
I didn't have to do a video like, "Oy vey, the goyim is taking me shekels away. Where's my kippa?"
And if you know anything about her story since she stopped making commentary videos in the style of Leafy, you know exactly the turn we're about to take.
I don't know the term we're gonna take.
I know that no matter what I say, I'll upset some people here. But
you went into the political realm. Well, you know what? I can respect the fact that like she wasn't happy doing like commentary videos, so she decided to reorient her shit. I can respect that. Political is crazy though. This is gonna be very based. I could tell. It's very based.
Just know I'm going to remain as unbiased as possible regarding politics. If you're looking for someone to validate your political opinion, whatever it may be, just click off now because I'm not going to do any of that in this video. Anyhow, looking at YouTube today, it may be hard to believe that more centrist or right-wing content dominated political talk. Today, the most popular and revered political YouTubers are left-wing or even avowed social.
I don't know. I don't think Vaush is too revered anymore, brother. I think Vaush kind of got snacked on. I think people kind of think he's a little bit of a lol cow meme at this point.
Channels like ContraPoints have risen to massive popularity and praise from almost every corner of the web and the mainstream, being at the top of what many call BreadTube, a side of YouTube dedicated to pushing back against right-wing content online. The more right-leaning content that they replaced was extremely pervasive just a few years ago. On one hand, Gamergate gave way to channels like Shoeonhead, who pushed back against political correctness and talked about what they saw as the many flaws of modern feminism.
So we all know BuzzFeed is the internet equivalent of ass cancer. We know this, and I'm pretty sure the website is a government experiment created to test my patience.
Channels like Shoeonhead were not explicitly right-wing in their views, though it could be argued that their existence helped give credibility to those who were explicitly conservative or even on the far right of the political compass. It seems crazy to think about now, but at the same time, people like James Allsup had channels on YouTube with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. YouTube has since banned all of these channels, of course, with the most curious turn in our story being that LtCorbis was one of them. As a first step to her change from commentary videos to more social commentary, she changed her name from LtCorbis to Soph, simply a shortened version of her real name. This name change would be symbolic.
What was her real name? Sofa? The fuck?
Of her change in content as the subject matter quickly became much more mature as well.
Having all that in mind, let's all strap in and slowly but steadily subvert all the values that made our societies prosperous in the first place. And remember, if you think any of this is immoral and you want no part of it, the people who are voting against your interests will prevail.
Prior, Sophie discussed politics but only in a comedic context. Now, she would make videos which, while filled with jokes, were ultimately dedicated to making a serious point about the world around her. Instead of taking inspiration for her content from commentary channels, she took visual influences of more underground creators like Sam Hyde and combined them with more overtly political subject matter.
Sam Hyde's an interesting guy. I don't hate the guy. I'm just saying I think maybe you shouldn't get your political videos from somebody like Sam Hyde or Steven Crowder or Vaush, to be honest with you. I mean, it's probably, but
with her video titles include Child Marriage is Legal, Multiracial Supremacy, and Women Are Cool and Should Vote.
And I know you might tell yourself that you're just being nice to her by donating to her Patreon, but let me tell you something. It isn't altruism if your dick's hard. If you're splurging cash on League of Legends skins for a girl, you're not being cool and generous. You're in a Findom arrangement and you haven't noticed it.
I mentioned earlier that many theorized her older videos were actually written by her brother. Well, as these more political videos were released, many theorized that she was not acting alone.
It's most likely true that somebody else was being very influential. I mean, like, once you get to political topics, probably somebody else writing it more. This would be where the conspiracy theory would kind of operate more for me, at least. You know, because now you're getting into like a political area.
VapoRub Boy. He's a video editor who previously worked for Anthony Fantano. He was close to Soph in age and held views that would be seen as very extreme. This would include praising Brenton Tarrant, the perpetrator in a mass shooting in Christchurch, New Zealand.
Jesus Christ, what the
Tarrant
fuck?
live-streamed himself killing 50 in and around various mosques. Sometime back in 2016, VapoRub Boy, or Victor, would befriend Soph online.
I remember that instance. I just didn't know that was the person who did it. It's one of those things where, like, I feel like we almost shouldn't talk about who the person. I mean, like, it's again, for context, of course, it makes sense for Turkey Thomas to introduce the person, but just like fundamentally, like that's what these psychopaths are looking for. Like when the news is like, oh, such and such decided to shoot up this that. It's like those motherfucking psychopaths are looking for that. They're not looking for a way out. They're not looking to get out of the situation after shooting up a school. They want you to be immortalized in some capacity, and then it becomes like a game of who can get the higher score every single time there's another fucking mass shooting because of these scumbag pieces of shit. So it's like one of those things where, like, I understand reporting on their name fundamentally, but like then it's like, damn, they're kind of winning when we say their name, you know?
And the two would begin working on videos together.
VapoRub is a 14-year-old Brazilian kid that's being responsible for most of the cryptic words and references that everyone's been pissing their pants about.
But of course, with the actual content from Soph's videos leaning more far-right, and her collaborator going so far as to praise a mass shooter, it wouldn't be long before their old associates started to publicly disavow them. On March 27th of 2019, user Sampladelic would make a post to the Needle Drop subreddit asking if Anthony was currently working with VapoRub Boy, given how unhinged some of his comments were since then. Anthony promptly responded, explaining that he would be cutting ties. Wow, thank you for pointing all of this out. Admittedly, I haven't paid much attention to whatever Corbis has been doing as of late, since I pretty much lost touch with the YouTube commentary community a while back. In light of all this, I've taken down my podcast featuring her because I don't really want to platform that fucker.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, Anti-Fantano is the guy who listens to music on Twitch and then rates it and had like a drama with like Drake lately, yeah? Right?
Or anybody who dabbles in it. As far as Nessie Kurt goes, being VapoRub Boy, he hasn't edited a video for me in months, and in light of his views on Christchurch, I'm glad that's the case. I was mistaken in assuming his gung-ho attitude towards content we collabed on pushing veganism and shitting on crap like that white boy video, in addition to private exchanges clowning alt-righters. I presumed his views were aligned more closely with mine, and didn't branch into this Islamophobic silliness. Lastly, I'd like to thank you guys for pointing this out. While some of the memes y'all push about the red flannel effect and great reviews content we collabed on pushing veganism and shitting on crap like that white, I was Mr. Boy. He hasn't edited a video for me in months, and in light of his views on Christchurch, I'm glad that's the case. I was mistaken in assuming his gung-ho attitude towards content we collabed on pushing veganism and shitting on crap like that white boy video, in addition to
I was trying to see it. It seemed like Anthony Fantano used to be a little bit more conservative, I guess.
Exchanges clowning alt-righters. I presumed his views were aligned more closely with mine, and didn't branch into this Islamophobic silliness. Lastly, I'd like to thank you guys for pointing this out. While some of the memes y'all push about the red flannel effect and great review, but can get pretty annoying, this post and some of the engagement around it has shown me that you're serious about keeping fascist and xenophobic attitudes out of the community. They have no place here and don't serve the greater good. Soph was now officially too controversial for Anthony Fantano, and it could be assumed the rest of the community would have had the same take as he did if they were paying attention. Soon, they would, and any remaining ties to her past would be severed permanently. Soph's content took to being explicitly far-right and promoting ideas about white demographic replacement in the United States. Ideas Soph shared tended to overlap with multiple far-right-wing circles, including even the alt-right. And due to her change in content from commentary to political commentary, she was able to spread these controversial right-wing messages to an audience that still wanted to hear what she had to say.
And we're just watching a fucking little girl going down the alt-right pipeline, guys. Jesus Christ.
Regardless of the issue. This, without a doubt, made her one of the more important...
The commentary bro community to the fucking alt-right, dude. Direct fucking pipeline, baby.
far-right channels on YouTube at the time. Remember, she had a loyal audience of hundreds of thousands, who only started watching her because of her non-political content. Now, they were listening to her share beliefs you'd have to go to 4chan or certain Twitter spheres to hear. In the words of those who may support her, she was red-pilling normies.
Red pill!
And, as you can imagine, with her promoting these inherently controversial political beliefs, it wouldn't be long before people who disagreed with her began to call her out.
Look, she has a golf t-shirt on, bro, and that's how you know she's
promoting these
alt-right.
inherently controversial political...
Alright, that's how you know she's alt-right, because she's playing golf with her fucking racist grandfather. True. Only people who play golf are racist, except Tyler Woods, obviously, because he's black. You know, he can't be racist. You know.
Beliefs. It wouldn't be long before people who disagreed with her began to call her out. On April 2nd of 2019, the fuckers tweeted out a leaked screenshot from LtCorbis' Discord. Remember Lieutenant...
Wow, that's a lot of bad things. I'm not going to show you what it's... Jesus Christ. Those are insane. One of them is that they don't particularly care for Muslims. It's a little too based for me, guys.
Corbis, the edgy 12-year-old commentator from back in the day, this is her now. Yikes. The attached screenshot was a series of images where Soph was saying things I cannot say here, but in a nutshell, they were some very, very controversial takes on Muslims. This tweet began a long saga of Lieutenant Corbis, now renamed Soph, being attacked, along with many criticizing her associating with far-right ideology, and as a result, getting involved in various political discussions and debates. Some alleged that she had been groomed by her parents or Vapor Rub Boy into holding these views, while others—
What the fuck? Holy fuck, groomed? We love using that word, don't we, huh? Bro, all it is like it's possible that her family was more conservative and they would put those values onto her naturally, which is how the shit works. You know? Which is like how things work. You know, you kind of get conditioned by your parents to believe certain things, right? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that fundamentally. If you're far right, there's something wrong with that. But like being a little more conservative, there's not a fucking, like, we're not gonna shit our fucking pants over that shit. But fucking groom, everything's grooming now, bro. Everything's, oh, we groom this. Shut the fuck up.
others claimed that she was a perfect case of how children can be radicalized into fringe ideologies through the internet. A few days after this tweet went up on April 6th, she would go on Ethan Ralph's kill stream. At the time, Ralph was running one of the most popular shows in internet blood sports, where he would discuss the political drama of the day and host debates between popular figures. During this particular episode of the kill stream, that is—
What happened? That guy's like a joke now, it seems like. That's my understanding. I don't know the guy, but it seems like he's kind of a fucking meme now. Yeah.
It's been viewed over 500,000 times. Soph would join to have a discussion with liberal content creator Destiny. They would also later be joined by far-right activist Nicholas J. Fuentes. Given that the reason this stream was happening in the first place was the leaked logs, Destiny would press her about their meaning, and he pressed pretty hard, at which time it appeared she was somewhat out of her depth.
Oh yeah, so why man, so we got a lot of hatred here for Muslims.
Go ahead, Sophie, you can respond.
Well, am I supposed to like defend my— well, okay. Well, okay, I have a question for you then. Do you think that was an idea I was expressing, or is that something I endorse completely and seriously mean?
Why can't it be both?
What do you mean?
Why can't it both be an idea that you're expressing and an idea that you sincerely endorse?
So you do think that I sincerely endorse that?
I don't know, it's hard to say. I mean, reading this, it sounds exactly like what was in the manifesto of the New Zealand shooter, and you seem to genuinely believe it.
I'm actually trying to— okay, well—
Wait, am I actually trying to what? I read the manifesto. I mean, we can talk about the similarities if you want. Okay.
But you're trying to— okay, it just seems like you're trying to associate me with Brendan Tarrant and call me a shooter, but I guess I can't assume that.
This part of the stream continued for some time.
Man. Those aren't even like hard questions. It just seems like he's asking, it's like, hey, you seem to say some racist shit about Muslims, or would that be xenophobic? I think it's racist, right? And then she's like, oh, so you're trying to say that I'm racist? It's like, yeah, man, this is... Yeah. It's not even a tough question. She's just struggling to meet the question, you know what I mean? Okay.
Time, with Destiny attempting to press Soph on her political ideology and why she said what she said, while she claimed that she was merely exaggerating her actual opinion, calling it a hyperbolic expression of rage. They went in circles for a bit until Nick joined the stream, at which point Soph took a back—
Hyperbolic? Okay, so she's saying that she has these issues, but she's being intentionally hyperbolic to be comedic in some capacity? So were we falling back onto like the jokes? It's just a joke, bro, kind of a thing? Because, I mean, a lot of people use jokes to display, like, a real point, so...
Backseat, while Nick bragged about winning a Twitter poll and called Destiny a pedophile.
She's at 69. You're on the air on the Robert Torch.
Dude, I'm needing on that, brother.
You want to interject into this debate?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight.
Oh, wait, hold on. I can't. I don't want to do this.
What's going on, Tiny?
All right, I don't want to get into, like, another, like, 20-hour fucking conversation. Hit me up with a question. What do you got?
Debating 14-year-olds?
Yeah, I mean, if I don't, then I'm accused of running away from 14. Do I want to be accused of running away from 14-year-olds or debating them? What's the worst one?
No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. You're always right, dude. You're always right.
Thanks. I try to be. It's what I build my brand on. I'm pretty not obfuscating, I mean. But okay, what do you got?
Logic is what you are governed by. For example, do you disavow child pornography? Well, I'd have to see the data.
Ultimately, this conversation did not get much of anywhere. As with most political discussions, Soph's audience agreed with her, and Destiny's audience agreed with him. But that doesn't mean it's the end of the controversy altogether. 2 days later, No Fuckers would drop a video called the Lieutenant Corbis Racist Meltdown. In the video, he talks about how he thinks Soph was radicalized into becoming a fascist. He also talks about the alt-right pipeline theory. The idea here is that people start by just laughing at edgy jokes or checking out some standard conservative content on YouTube, and over time, YouTube algorithms algorithm suggests them more and more extreme content, and thus the internet is radicalizing people into fascism. The end result of taking action against a supposed alt-right pipeline would basically be the censorship of the right wing online in order to prevent radicalization.
So first of all, I went on a channel which has very edgy video titles such as multiracial white supremacy, suicide bomb, and honestly guys, I couldn't be fucked to watch any of the videos because all of the videos sound like she just went to the English dictionary, poked out the most difficult words from it, put it in a salad while trying to convey some trash social message that is epic and red pilled. I don't want to listen to that shit, guys. I don't.
The fuckers questions what other factors could have allowed Soph to become explicitly far right. He calls her a racist and a fascist, and theorizes that this vapor rub boy individual probably had a hand in moving her farther and farther right. He would also attack those who sided with Soph, such as e-girl provocateur Brittany Venti. He ends the video by shouting out bread tubers like HBomberGuy and ContraPoints, showing what his perspective was at the time.
And all they wanna do is poke fun at the fact that I said the word yikes. Dude, facts don't care about your feelings. Laptop just got destroyed epic style. I cannot handle these truth bombs, dude.
This video was not viral by any means, only receiving a few 100,000 views in its first week of posting. However, it did start a discussion around Corbis' views and got the attention of other political YouTubers who may be interested in the subject material. As it was released, Corbis went live herself to respond to the video and deny the more severe claims about her, like that she was pushing for genocide. Vapor Rub Boy can be heard in the call talking about these issues as well. As a response,
it's unfortunate because like this is a young girl, and so like a lot of it to her might just be memes, but like damn. That's what happens when you become too based. You think that the memes aren't that big of a deal. I think that's a big problem with some of like this kind of like, I guess you'd say alt-right shit, is that it starts out for a lot of people as like, they're just really edgy jokes. And as a kid, like I said, like I wasn't super compassionate when I was a kid either. I wasn't super empathetic. So they're like, oh, they're just kind of jokes at first. And then you don't really realize like the profoundly negative impact that these jokes can have. I'm not saying people shouldn't be able to joke. I'm saying that there has to be like a limit for some of these jokes. If you're making jokes about how like we should get rid of Muslims, like maybe that joke's really toxic.
Then went live himself to respond in front of his audience. Here, he further repeats his prior points about her cultivating an extreme audience on purpose, and points out that her live chat is filled with in-jokes from the 4chan board poll.
It's one of those things too, it's like, I feel like, and this happened to me on TikTok a little bit, it's sometimes you don't realize that you're developing like a biased audience. Like, it's so hard to say. There's times where like you'll make content that's genuine and you might have like a genuine perspective that isn't radical in any capacity, and people that are more radical can like latch on to your perspective, and like you won't even realize it until you end up with like an audience that's either like super liberal or super conservative. Because some things can come off as some kind of potential like dog whistle, you know? Like, let's say for instance you have a political take that's like, yeah, you know, I would like to moderate immigration because I don't want like too many people coming in too quickly. That's a fair take. Yeah. Like I want to moderate, like this way we should have immigration, but like we should moderate it this way. We don't go too crazy. You know, we can have like a level of control. Because even Bernie Sanders has said like, you know, we need to have strong immigration policies if we want to, you know, if we want to have like a functioning country. Some people though that are more conservative leaning or literal racists, not just conservatives, might look at that and go like, oh, see, that person is promoting the idea that like we might displace white people, so we need to slow down and not really let other immigrants in. And like that's where that you could potentially not even realize that you're kind of like shuffling down the bad path, the trodden path. Is that the right word? You know? And then before you know, you're like, holy fuck, what did I do? So a level of that can be present in there.
Or politically incorrect. Curiously enough, 2Mad left a comment on the stream re-upload saying, the child has been absent for many years. She's been replaced with hours of edgy political footage and embodies it. At just 14 minutes into the stream, the fuckers would actually join the call with Soph and Victor to debate the issues at hand. However, much like the talk with Destiny, it would not go much of anywhere, with both sides expressing their opinion and failing to move in either direction.
No, but we can call out people on shit that's sus, bruh. Saying that Christ just shoots is a Godspeed.
Mother, listen to me.
Your mom speaks in Ebonics?
Yeah, my mother's a black 15-year-old, and she had...
Fair enough.
Soph certainly didn't help the perceptions of her when, in May, she decided to have a live stream with Nick Fuentes, where they played Minecraft and talked about politics. In this stream, they would do controversial things within the game, most notably building an LGBT version of the Israeli flag. Soph would then become the center of a media firestorm, and a topic of the ongoing culture war regarding things like political correctness and freedom of speech. And, as with others who were associated with the far right in any shape or form, it wouldn't be long.
I think that Nick Fuentes is just waiting for her to like come of age or something. I'm just saying, because like right, like he's been attracted to multiple non-white people, and then he always has to like can't really go out with them because they're not white. You think he's just waiting for his based queen to become like reach legal age, or is that joke a little too over the line here? That joke a little too over the line there. I don't know.
before she got the attention of the mainstream
Maybe it
media.
is.
Joseph
Maybe it
Bernstein
is a
is
little
likely
bit.
a familiar name by now. He spent time over his career targeting those who are associated with the far right, like Sam Hyde, or those who he believes are pushing people to that corner of the internet, like PewDiePie. On May 13th, 2019, he penned the article, YouTube's newest far-right, foul-mouthed, red-pilling star is a 14-year-old girl. He goes on to describe her views outlined in her videos, making the case that, much like how she was radicalized at a young age, he believes she was attempting to radicalize her audience. Soph's scripts, which she says she writes with a collaborator, are familiar. A mix of hatred towards Muslims, anti-black racism, Byzantine fear-mongering about pedophilia, tissue-thin incel evolutionary psychology, and reflexive misanthropy that could be copied and pasted from 1,000 different 4chan posts. Of course, it's all presented in the terminally ironic style popularized by boundary-pushing comedy groups like the influential $1 Million Extreme, and adopted of late by white supremacist mass shooters in Christchurch and San Diego. Bernstein goes on to make the point that YouTube themselves should be held responsible for her popularity, and heavily implies that they should do something about it. But Soph's popularity raises another, perhaps more difficult question, about whether YouTube has an obligation to protect such users from themselves, and one another.
Yeah, I mean, well, it sounds like somebody basically was like, hey, you should probably ban this girl, and they were like, yeah, probably. Yeah, man, you know, I believe in freedom of speech, but there are gonna be extreme aspects of it. You know what I mean? Freedom of speech, not consequences. If you're going on talking about like fucking how horrible Muslim people are and shit, like that's definitely far over the line that like I would feel comfortable with. And it would be, I mean, if I ran YouTube, I'd be like, yeah, we probably should get rid of this shit. Like that's way too fucking over the line, dude.
Soph had been posting content for some time in this vein. You could argue she had been building it up for years. So why did the article only come out now? Was it because of her drama with death?
Probably because people just started noticing it now, you know?
Destiny and the fuckers? No. Instead, it was actually the release of a particular video on her channel, titled Be Not Afraid. Be Not Afraid was a video that was very critical of the religion of Islam. It used vulgar and offensive humor to make this point, with many considering it to be Islamophobic, as well as anti-Semitic, with her comments about George Soros and homosexuality.
Since then, I've become a devout follower of the Prophet Muhammad. Suffice to say, I've been having a fuck ton of fun. Of course, I get raped by my 40-year-old husband every so often, and I have to worship a black cube to indirectly please an ancient Canaanite god. But at least I get to go to San Fran and stone the shit out of some gays, and the cops can't do anything about it because California's a crypto caliphate.
With all eyes now on her, some of the right came to her defense.
There's probably a nuanced way to have a conversation about how some like cultures, like Islamic cultures, are very regressive. There is a way to talk about that. Because if you look at like Middle Eastern countries, like they're not exactly the most free when it comes to anybody's rights except for men's rights. Right? Not trying to be a dickhead. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, we went the wrong way. But this certainly isn't the way to do it.
Namely Paul Joseph Watson, Mark Dice, and Nick Fuentes himself, who all came to her aid. Meanwhile, other mainstream outlets like the Washington Examiner backed Bernstein. While they say she should not be outright banned, they do state that allowing her platform to grow is dangerous, and seem to hint that someone should do something about the growing genre of far-right creators. Bernstein's not wrong that social media platforms have an ethical obligation to monitor speech that flirts with illegality.
I just wouldn't associate like that, I would say bad culture with like the religion itself, because like our religion, like the Christian religion, historically hasn't exactly been the most you know, free religion. It's been also very oppressive. I think it's more of a culture that like unintentionally was created that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with religion. Like I don't think it's a religion thing. I think it's a cultural thing. Because again, if Christianity ran America, we would have a very regressive country. I'll tell you that much.
In sexual threats and musings against minors. But he misses the greater problem here. It's up to people as a whole to stop platforming and elevating children who don't even look like they've hit puberty as political forces. Lost in the debate about social media is the individual responsibility to consume and promote content ethically. Adults ought to know better than catapult clearly troubled children to alt-right superstardom. Free speech is the cornerstone of Western society. YouTube ought not ban Soph, but we can still understand that elevating her public profile is irresponsible at best and dangerous at worst.
You're a walking, talking, pole-browsing, gap-toothed reminder that America is the last beacon of true free speech, and therefore hope in this joke of a planet.
The Bernstein article had some major influence, both positive and negative for Soph. On one hand, it was the most relevant she had been since 2016. It seems like every prominent right-winger was talking about her at the time, exclaiming that she was yet another victim of cancel culture. Her channel grew faster than it had in years, pushing her from 800,000 subscribers to just shy of 1 million. She was only 5,000 away at her peak. Soph would jokingly tweet out a thank you to Mr. Bernstein, celebrating her recent success. But there were, of course, negatives to this article. For one, the Be Not Afraid video will be taken down by YouTube within a day after the article was published. Now, YouTube was clearly paying attention to her content, and they were not down with the messaging at all. It also got some of the people that helped build her up to seemingly show regret. The article highlights the fact that Keemstar promoted her. He would later make a tweet proclaiming that she was radicalized by memes. And it wasn't just the internet that was aware of her shift in focus. Once again, her content began to bleed into her personal life. In 2016, students were discussing her Twitter squabble with Keemstar and asking her for autographs. In 2019, when social justice was a hot topic, especially amongst the youth, it's safe to say her peers were hardly fans of the direction she had gone. A few days after the BuzzFeed article, local, media outlets local to her would cover the story, and it wasn't just because of the mainstream.
Well, I don't know how much impact Keemstar had after she went to her political sphere. It sounds like most of it came before she even got into politics. I mean, I don't think that he quite understands, like, I guess how radicalized she got, but it doesn't seem like he supported her actively when she was, like, becoming very, very, very red pill, but I guess I could be wrong.
Attention. It was instead due to the fact that students at her school led a walkout protesting her views, and also because she would become the subject of at least 2 police investigations. One of these was due to her jokingly threatening the life of YouTube CEO Susan W. in an older video she made. It was at this point that YouTube would also start to censor her more. They would even temporarily remove her ability to upload content to the site, but they had not outright banned her, leaving her at a crossroads.
Well, that's...
I wonder what the parents think about this, like what her parents think. Like, what was there, like, do they even really understand what's happening? Like, I don't know, because now that she's gotten mainstream attention, like, were they actually like very conservative to a point where they're like, yeah, this is perfectly reasonable to be expressing on the internet? Because if it was my 11-year-old talking about like this way about fucking like Muslims and shit, I would have been like, nah, you're done. So I wonder what the parents actually thought.
That's why we decided to half demonetize all your videos and give you pretty much no money.
She could either tone things down in an effort to save her channel, or keep pushing the boundaries and risk what she had built for the last few years of her life. The last video posted to the Soph channel was titled Pride and Prejudice, and was released on July 31st of 2019. The video itself was very critical of the LGBT community, and was essentially a mockery of the movement as a whole, making the assertion that the community was being subverted by child predators. The next day, YouTube terminated her channel completely. According to the
So I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that it had something to do with talking about how maps are trying to be part of the community, and then like basically almost criticizing LGBTQ people for maps belonging in the community, which is minor attracted people. My understanding though is that like 4chan memes were like, yeah, let's try to hijack the LGBTQ community and make it seem like they're pushing like a pro pedophile agenda. So like even that would be like basically being manipulated by the fucking meme in there.
YouTube terminated the channel because Soph accumulated 3 community guideline strikes in 90 days and violated the company's policies on hate speech. YouTube updated its policies on hateful content earlier this year in an effort to prevent harmful videos from spreading. Soph previously caught the attention of YouTube's executive team after a lengthy BuzzFeed report detailed a number of disturbing videos, one of which included a direct threat against YouTube CEO. After 4 years, LtCorbis was permanently banned from YouTube. You could mark 2019 and 2020 as the beginning of the end for a lot of controversial right-wing content creators. Soph wouldn't be the only one banned. She's one of many, including the aforementioned James Alsop and Nick Fuentes. Even non-political content creators like Mr. Medicare ran into a
I could certainly understand, like, bro, Nick Fuentes is off the fucking deep ends, bro. He's like talking about how like black and Hispanic people are biologically inferior to like white people. So like, yeah, I could see why they might want to fucking ban that guy.
A lot of issues with YouTube, which ended in him removing his entire catalog for fear of channel termination. Following the ban, she decided to post some of her content to sites like BitChute, but exists most prominently on one exclusive platform. Censored.tv is a website owned by Vice co-founder Gavin McInnes. The site hosts paywalled content from mostly banned right-wing figures. While it's hard to say how successful she's been there, other content creators like Frank Hassel have garnered some serious financial success from posting on paywalled sites. So it's possible that she's making a significant income from her videos to this day. But of course,
she's still posting on that site? How long ago was this? Like,
a huge downside of getting deplatformed, and especially going the paywalled route, is losing your large reach of people and making money through ads. On BitChute, her videos have only gotten around 10,000 views a pop, when back on YouTube she was getting millions. To put it bluntly,
it sounds like a lot of views on like a website that's heavily gated, so...
grand scheme of things, she has become...
Wait, do you think that I said that Christianity wasn't a... Wait, nah, he just said Christianity doesn't seem like a region, which is... What are you talking about? Did you think that I said... Wait, what did you think that I said about Christianity? I said that Christianity, the religion itself, is just as regressive as like any other religion, and that the reason why Western countries have, I would say, better values than other countries that aren't as accepting of gay people, trans people, people of color, women, isn't because of religion. It's because of just like better social change. What I'm trying to tell you is that like our religion isn't inherently better, or the Christian religion isn't inherently better than other religions. We just happen to, by luck, have a more accepting society. I don't know what you thought I said, but hopefully that clarifies what I meant to say based on what you think that I said.
Irrelevant. While censored creators like Nick Fuentes still find ways to make their presence known, Soph is seemingly just enjoying her smaller audience and the money she makes from it. Whether Soph deserved to be banned from YouTube comes down to your own perspective on freedom of speech. But what's undeniable is that with the path she was on, in the current landscape, her ban was going to happen one way or another. But YouTube did not ban all of her channels.
Okay, yeah,
on a channel created in 2016.
I'm happy I was able to clarify that. I might have just done a bad job communicating what I was trying to say before. So, like, feel free to ask me questions to declare to see what you think I might have said versus what I meant to say or what I actually said. Anytime for anybody. I'd rather you guys be like, hey, I feel like you said something wrong, and this way I can correct it. This way I can correct it. That's pretty much it.
Titled LtCorbis, which it appears was used to host some of her old music, she has been semi-active once again. Her first video, posted on February 12th of 2022, was titled I'm Sorry. While some thought it was sincere at first, the video was merely a joke poking fun at her old feud with Jacob Sartorius.
But I'm not doing this out of self-interest or a reward. I just want to set the record straight and say that I'm sorry for ever discriminating against or fostering hate towards Jacob Sartorius.
So stupid.
As for what the future may hold for Soph, it's honestly hard to say. For her age, she was a talented video creator, and even to this day, it's clear she has a passion for the format. That being said, with the content she was posting and the messaging she promoted, there's no denying that in the current landscape, there's simply no way she could survive. The most recent video on Corbis' channel was titled LGBTQ creators are doing sex ed, and it's a lot. So it appears she is not going to stop discussing political issues anytime soon. I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching. But before I go, a message from today's sponsor, Filmora.
I use
if you want to become a
Filmora.
content creator or get a second income as a freelance video editor, then a great place to start is with Wondershare Filmora.
I actually use Wondershare Filmora. I have the paid version and all that stuff. Oh, I use that for video editing, so it's actually decent. I don't do anything extreme. I don't really know what's better about other editing services, but it's worked very well for me. So I guess that's like an indirect, it's a solid platform to use.
It's a very easy-to-use video editing software, being perfect for beginning to intermediate video editors. It's intuitive, with expanding effects and resources. It has plenty of pre-made motion graphics and features, and also allows for more advanced stuff, like motion tracking, masking, and speed ramping. I downloaded it, and within minutes, I was getting familiar with the software. It's really easy to learn. In the latest version, Filmora 11, you can even drag and drop free-to-use stock media, so you can create faster and better. Click the link in the description to download and try Filmora for...
It sounds like that Turkey Tom doesn't use Filmora, and he just downloaded it and was like, "Oh, this isn't too bad." So I guess that it's probably for more amateur-esque people. But hey, I like it. I'm a very simple young man, so I like that kind of simple shit. Yeah, that was solid. It was a good video, though, obviously. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and a special shout out to all my Patreon patrons, my YouTube members, and my Twitch subs. If you'd like to learn how you can contribute even more than you already are by simply watching the video, you can check the links down below, which will unlock a special feature depending on the platform that you subscribe to, such as Patreon here that will get your name right here on this wall. Thank you so much, guys, again for watching, and have a good one.